And I bet the intro picked that up. Yay. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Moisky political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. Your actual cough thing helped me. Yeah. Thanks for that. Joining me, as always, for a weekly roundup of politics in America. And at the moment, the Middle East. Although someone did correct me by saying, it's not the Middle East, it's the South, blah, 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 blah. Colloquial term is wrong, blah, 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 blah. Is Trups LP. Thank you to the person, by the way, who kept saying that to me. I really didn't appreciate it. Say hello, Trups LP.
Hello, Trups LP.
How is Trups?
I want to know who was badgering you about the semantics of geographical location of where we should happen.
It was a comment either in a recent video on this channel or a live stream on this channel. A comment.
Oh.
And it's that argument of, oh, but Afghanistan is in this region, it's not the Middle East. Shut the fuck up. Alright.
I'm gonna go comment that.
No one actually cares. It's a colloquial term. Oh, but you must be Shut the you pedantic prick. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care because it doesn't change anything. It's still a mess and it always has been over there.
Literally.
Which we'll get to later. How's Trups been this week?
Oh, I've I don't even really know. What have I been doing? I've been working. That's about it.
I spent the whole week cleaning the house while the family was away. They came back a day early last night, which upset me because I hadn't finished. The house is already a mess. I'm very disappointed.
Oh, I'm sure. It takes a certain amount of time to clean it all up, and then it can be undone in a matter of moments.
Oh, it was disheartening. But they have agreed to my demand that there will be a cleaning rota, that's it, for the house, because I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of putting... I today made it clear to the nieces. I see one toy on the floor, it goes in the bin. Two of them broke that rule straight away, and so I put the toy in the bin. They're like, oh, my toy... Shut up. I told you where it was going. You live in the land of plenty, which means you live in the land of taking everything for granted. I'm sorry. There are consequences, and these are negative ones. Get used to it. I'm a dick. Deal with it. But on top of that, I had issues with my passport, which I was quite annoyed by. They sent me an email, for those who don't see my Twitter, telling me that because I was born after 1982, I needed my mother's birth certificate to prove I had a claim to British citizenship.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. So I decided to call them. First of all, to confirm it was actually them.
Why isn't your birth certificate sufficient?
I don't know. Fun fact here, though, is I've got my mother's in my hand. My sister's very kindly gave it to me today. There is so little information on this. Honestly, it's like getting a till receipt from a shop. It has marginal information on it, nothing concrete. It has a name, gender, date of birth, place of birth. That is it. Mine has more on it than this. Thank you, not a banned account, for the $2 donation. If you're Cthulhu, please sunder this clown world. Yeah, it's happening. So I've got to send that to...
He's not Cthulhu. He's Cthulhu kin.
Yes, bastard
His
child.
dad is a different story.
Yeah, it's... he's a prick.
Lore.
But yeah, it is. It's canon. But I called them up and I said, well, why couldn't you... Why did I pay for the post office to check this, only for you to then tell me that they got something wrong? I paid money for someone to make sure this was right. And they're like, oh, you should just ask for a refund. How about this? Why don't you ask for information on the relative that's still alive and hasn't been dead for half a decade? Oh, but we need your lineage. You mean the same lineage I got from my dad's side when I got my last name that can be traced back to the 1600s? I can give you the family tree if you bloody like. And, I got quite aggressive with them. They were not impressed.
See, that doesn't work for me, because it's like, you were born in the States, right? Yes. Where was your father born? Not the States.
I've never left this country. And you say I have a claim to citizenship? No, I have citizenship.
Right. It should. This should be a record already.
It
You pay taxes. Like what?
I pay taxes. I pay into the whole system. I have a birth certificate that proves I was born somewhere. Hell, I've got crappy photos.
Which should also be mirrored in the hospital's records.
Yes, but apparently they're different departments, so they can't work together and deal with this. And I realized
I hate those people. I deal with that on a fucking daily basis at work. You know, this company has subsidiaries in this company and that company. Well, why don't they work together? Well, it's because they have different proprietary stuff and they have to have a contract with one another. Fuck off. You are owned by the same people. Just fucking slap the big name on it and deal with each other.
I'm just looking at my mother's birth certificate, and granted, it hurts a little bit to look at this kind of crap. But at the same time, I'm sat here thinking, her mum and dad aren't even mentioned on this. On mine, they are. On hers, no. Because, you know, she was born in 1963. They didn't do birth certificates as detailed as mine, which they claimed wasn't also... Fuck off. Just fuck off, alright? My triggering on Twitter was just after my phone call with them. I was not best impressed.
Oh, I could tell. I could tell by your entire thing. So, explain to me real quick why your This Week at Twitter had 0 avatar.
Because I didn't have time. My sisters got back late last night, and I had to do chores around the house today.
Oh, okay.
I legit only got to make the video at around about 3 p.m. I had notes already done, but then I had to go and do other things, which really annoyed me. I didn't want to do that, but I had no choice. I hate doing that as well. Sorry about that to those who like watching those videos with an avatar.
No, I was reading the comments and everyone was making fucking jokes about it.
Oh, good.
Like, did someone turn the lights off?
Yeah. I'm actually behind the camera for a change. I just wanted to take a picture of a nice set that I'd
you're going for a director role here.
Yeah. Voiceover role as well.
You kind of already were doing that.
I'm Bob Saget.
No, you're David Attenborough.
Oh, I don't want to be that old. All right.
Come on, if somebody offered you fucking money to fucking narrate Planet Earth, you'd be like, yeah, okay.
It depends how much. I'd probably do it a little bit differently, to be fair. I might get flagged for inappropriate language. Just start talking really whenever any creature is having sex. Oh, look at them touch. Oh.
For some reason, that just makes me think of Aussie Man reviews.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, tangent.
Where should we start?
So, oh my god, that's a great question. Fuck me, where do you want to start?
Okay.
You're hosting.
Fine. Let's have a look. Okay, fact checking. We all know what that is, don't we?
I know what they assert it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I also know what it is. Yeah.
Let's do a hypothetical. Well, not
okay.
It's a fact. What happened? Let's say 18 months ago. YouTube imposed a form of fact checking when it came to YouTube content, didn't it?
Oh yes, absolutely. In fact, if I say the C word or the V word, there will be a little thing at the bottom once the stream is over.
What did YouTube adhere to ensure these facts were correct?
Well, I believe they did. They coordinated with third parties to fact check to make sure that this information was the most correct as per CDC guidelines.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
This is fantastic. So I, during the week, received a DM from a former anti-SJW, or maybe still, I don't know, called Mr. Dapperton. Now, he had messaged me recently to remove a video just for the sake of his image, and I was fine with that. I didn't mind. But he sent me a message saying, "You see Amazing Atheist video on Kyle from Secular Talk." For those who don't know who they are, Secular Talk is... Sorry?
Kyle Kalinske?
Yes. Kyle Kalinske is what many consider to be a left-wing populist. Amazing Atheist is a hypocritical champagne socialist. Okay, good. Glad we said that.
Okay.
Kyle Kalinske put out a video where he spoke of a poll that had been done asking the people if they would prefer it if the government controlled information, as in fact or fiction. And in the poll, the majority said yes. Kyle said this is wrong. Now, I'm very on the fence with Kyle because his coverage of Trump was insane. It was bonkers. He was so biased. It was nuts. However,
Yeah.
what he said next was, if we had a Ministry of Fact Checking, who fact checks the fact checkers? Who's the watchdog for them? You know, and I agree with this concept. But this is
Watches
where
the watch.
exactly that's it. Thank you. Well, this is where the Amazing Atheist comes into this, because he said in the video, and I'm going to quote Dapperton. I did watch the video; it's a 12-minute video. He said they should use any means necessary to silence the person speaking the fake news. That's what the Amazing Atheist said in response to Kyle Kulinski.
Now, I have made comments in the same vein.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a tweet that's still up that says people who spread fake news should be slapped. That's a varying degree of severity, very different than what the Amazing Atheist is asserting here. Mine is, you're a liar, get a backhand. Now go on with your fucking day. They're talking about imprisonment and, if necessary, killing people, because that's what the generalization of any means necessary means.
Right. So I watched the Amazing Atheist's rant since Dapperton sent this to me, and he did in fact say this. He said that there should be a form of fact-checking governing body, like an external source, but they should be, in the relevant field, they should be scientists who are not politically motivated, which is
No.
bollocks.
What he wants is experts.
He does, but at the same time, he's arguing for a position of naivety. There is no such thing as an expert that can be politically unbiased.
Well, what I mean is, scientists are not experts. Scientists
they're not.
are scientists.
They are scientists.
Scientists are often wrong, and then they will attempt to rectify the wrong by continuing to try and get the answer that they're looking for. Experts are self-interested. They are always right because they are the expert. There's a level of hubris that is the differentiating characteristic.
Okay. A Ministry of Truth, exactly how Skog in the YouTube chat has said. I do not agree with this concept in the slightest. Where Kyle has said that everyone should be allowed to say what they want to say, which I agree with. I do not agree that that should be policed in case it's fake news or in case it's blah blah motivate. No, it doesn't matter. People should have the right. It's not even a. I'm not trying to avoid the idea of a consequence, because there are already consequences depending on the subject on YouTube anyway, or the sources you link. There are already consequences for that, which I don't really agree with, to be honest. But that's just me. I can't imagine why.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, right, yeah. But when it comes to this idea of a state-funded external body, entity, with, even if it's scientists or experts, it doesn't matter who. Whoever's in charge can run it, control it, and that's a bad idea. And I found that fascinating because the Amazing Atheist pointed out in his that, like Kyle, he's having issues finding his niche because people are leaving the left-leaning populist sort of area, so secular talk isn't doing as well as the channel as it used to do when Trump was in office, which isn't surprising. Once your president's in, you're not as interesting anymore because you're not arguing against the man. If anything, if you wanted to maintain relevancy, you should have wanted Trump to be president for 4 more years.
Right, and that was the problem that people had speculated was going to hit MSNBC and CNN, and it did.
And the Amazing Atheist agrees he himself is having the same issue and then he fell back on skeptics and anti-SJWs and atheists for an argument, and I'm thinking, well, actually, it's not that. It's when people realised you were nothing more than a gibbering hypocrite. Everyone thought he was they put him in this cringy picture of four horsemen for current anti-SJW back in 2016. He was considered the iconoclast, and I was like, this is bollocks. You're not that in the slightest. He is, if anything, the ultimate contrarian. Not that he'll admit it; he'll say the opposite.
I mean, commentary people on YouTube are often that way.
True, but he makes it.
If they make content, they're being
true.
Contrarian.
Right, fine. That's the second time you've decided to be a bit pedantic. I get it. Thank you. But in the exceptional case where he likes to take it an extra step, he does, and he has done for years, and it's amazing. And I don't agree with his position of taking any means necessary to silence people. That's a bad idea. Because that's just... How can you argue for that when you've been so anti sort of establishment for so long? It's very... This is why he's a hypocrite, because he's very much anti almost government, but now he's okay for it when it suits him. Under the guise this time of the people, which I find fascinating. Would you support a Ministry of Truth?
Oh, fuck no.
I can't imagine why.
I have an authority problem in general. There's no need for me to then to add on to that, have somebody tell me that, their shit don't stink.
Why do I get a feeling that you've been put on report so many times at work or something?
What? No. People at work actually usually agree with me.
That's disappointing. So it's just Facebook.
Yeah, no, just Facebook has a problem with me.
That's not surprising. They have a problem with a lot of people.
And honestly, Facebook's problem with me isn't even for what they considered. The fuck was it? They called it something specific.
Oh, the last time you used it.
Yeah. I had gotten muted for 24 hours because of like bullying language or whatever the fuck.
Wasn't that a quote?
Yeah, I was literally talking about I was talking about Shakespeare, and I think it was because I called. Yeah, I think it was because I used the word whore.
To be fair, people are being yeeted off Facebook for simply posting the word faggot, and you can. There is context to that word because we have it as a food product over here, but you'll struggle to find a place where you can just openly declare that. I want some you can say Mr. Brains, that's the brand name. I want that in my mouth. I personally don't, but that's because they're not very...
Hey man, you do you. I ain't gonna judge.
Yeah, don't. This is a judgment-free zone.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
No, but I have an issue with anybody who tells me that something inherent about whatever it is, whether it be something like your Ministry of Truth in Facebook, which already exists.
Oh, it does.
Or the Ministry of Truth on Twitter, or the Ministry of Truth on Reddit, or Google. If any of those decided to actually become a governmental entity, and they're only about 2 steps from it, we're going to be completely honest. If that becomes a governmental entity, we're all fucked. Because look at how well they've done fact-checking up until this point. They've banned people for information that was technically correct, but not reported on.
They backtrack on it, but they still don't undo the bans.
Correct. And they never issue an apology. Even a fucking bullshit one.
How many times
cookie cutter thing, whatever, right?
Yeah.
None of that happens. So I am not of the belief that we will ever see a effective fact-checking organization, because it is much like how Kalinske had represented it. The idea of a fact-checking organization would invariably be controlled by whomever runs the government at that time.
Certainly be influenced by it. We've seen it with the WHO, the CDC, where they had a different message from the current administration, and when they said this, was it not even a day later, they changed their message to match the administration's. clearly the administration is not following the science, or they're deciding what version of science they're going to pay attention, or experts they're going to listen to.
Right. And it is going to be completely based on whatever it is they feel at the time.
Yeah. I think
or whoever pays them the most. This is the biggest problem.
I get a lot of people have this motivator of what is currently being said, why people are anti or pro C or V, the words we will not speak in case we get that little thing at the bottom. And I get it, but making people vanish who disagree, who are very much anti-V, or just not in favour of it in general, not necessarily anti, only pushes that underground, and it will grow anyway. They don't need social media to be popular. They just need to appeal to the right
funny.
people.
Do you remember? I mean, I'm sure we've mentioned it before, but you remember that, of course, during the presidency of Donald Trump, this problem of the of his effort with warp speed was going to kill everybody, and everyone was going to suffer.
Fuck, I remember that.
Do you remember all of the bullshit?
Yeah, the same people who then, the moment he left, was like, "Yo, let's line up and get one now while we still can."
Correct.
You hypocrites. I love it.
I don't.
Well, actually, while we're on the subject of C and V, I guess, where is... here we are. Trups. Shifting goalposts is standard operating procedure. A retweet of director Arcata.
Yeah.
Vexing the sheer number who still pretend he is credible. Which is an image of 4 separate tweets. One from the 23rd of December 2020. One from the 30th of December 2020. One from the 20th of February 2021, and from the 23rd of August 2021. In each case, Fauci has said that life will be back to normal by a certain date, usually between 3 to 6 months of the tweet. But he has said this every single time in 4 separate major instances. Thoughts, Trups?
If I were to take those numbers that you just lifted off, those 4 separate tweets about 3 to 4 months ahead, that would equate to just about a year, right?
Yep.
Weird. That's about where we sit right now, eh?
Well, he's now promised in the more recent that if the majority of Americans get vaccinated, COVID-19 C will be under control by the spring of 2022. I'll edit that out afterwards.
Sure it will. Sure it will.
To be fair, in February, he predicted a return to normal by Christmas. Christmas last year, life will return to normal by early fall of 2021. And the first one was normal by June. Well, we've gone past June, so that's a negatory. Fall's coming up, isn't it?
I hate to tell you, yeah, it is. Feels like the time's been going by so fast, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been exceptional how fast, almost warp speedish.
Yeah, appropriate. Nice.
So,
yeah, so that is our life.
How does Fauci still have a job?
He is paid very well.
I'm not surprised. He looks like a corpse.
Yes, much like our president.
Oh, we'll get to him soon.
I'm sure.
Okay, so with these constant moving back, do you think? I mean, I'm starting to take the stance of it's going to be one of those things where we just have to live with it, because there's never going to be a vaccine at this point. There's not going to be one. There's no point trying to say there will be either. It's not. It's bollocks. So, what is the point of continually telling the people, "Oh, things will be back to normal"? Especially in a country like yours, where some states are just like, "We are back to normal. What are you talking about?"
Yep, that is a good point, because some of us literally could not give a shit.
Most of us here don't either. Anyway, we just carried on even when we were locked down.
That's balls. Some people in our country don't have those.
We're irresponsible. If you live in a more conservative region like where I live, people generally, they're mostly old people in this town especially. They're just out on their mobility scooters, and if anyone tells them they can't go in without a mask, they simply just drive through them. Although masks are no longer mandatory here. In most shops, some will say, "Oh, but you have to get into a florist," and I'm like, "But surely the moisture coming out of my mouth is dealing with your plants first." Apparently not.
Indeed. Or not, I guess.
Or not. But if it's a succulent, it's just a little bit of moisture. It helps them, right?
Yes, good suck.
What? Oh, okay. So, while we're in the subject area, still in this region, Oregon Governor Kate Brown, in a 27-second clip, said, effective today, masks are mandatory in all public settings, regardless of if you've been vaccinated or not. Thoughts?
How are you going to police it?
Since no one in Oregon likes the police, this is going to be quite amusing.
Okay. That's my first question. It's how will you police this thing?
Your police are impotent. How are you going to do this?
Yes.
Especially in Oregon. They are known for being impotent at this point. Aren't they still dealing with riots?
I believe they set up a new autonomous zone recently.
Shock. Hang on, have we got another Chad?
We've had several actually over the last year. We've had a couple. They
Chad's,
spring up every so often.
Chad's getting a renaissance like Australia and the prison colonies. It's Christmas.
Oh my God, Australia is psychotic, dude.
It's Christmas.
I'm terrified of fucking anybody who lives in Australia right now. Dude, look, that is awful.
It is, but if they stole bread, they belong there. I'm sorry,
I guess.
We value our bread, alright?
Apparently.
I will admit, some of the stuff I'd heard of, the one I heard about that annoyed me the most was the dog thing. The rest of it does annoy me, but...
No, the dog thing was actually fucking awful.
It was.
Like, somebody deserves to not only get fired, but they deserve to be disowned and in prison.
I wanted to put them, I suggested in yesterday's exhibition of stupid people, putting them in the very cages they had the dogs in, and leaving them there with the, so if you're British, you would have done this as a kid. Dried dog biscuits. No doubt someone has tried the white ones shaped like a bone. They taste just like a plain biscuit. If you're dumb enough, someone will tell you to try one of the black ones. They're not so good. So you just feed them and leave them there for the rest of their lives.
No, too much effort.
No, not here. We just get a box of Bonio and sieve them. It's fine.
No. You say keep them alive for the rest of their life. I mean, I guess. Well, I assume that their life is going to be long.
It's because we don't we don't do death penalty here. Remember? I know France is considered. I know people are talking about France and the guillotine coming back. Another renaissance, no doubt. But at the same time, I see people in the chat have. Yes! I'm not alone. I'm not a weirdo. No, it was something... in the 90s, a lot of kids did this. Especially if you grew up poor and you wanted a snack. Wait, that's a white bonio? I'll eat that. I'll time you over till dinner. That's fine.
I'm happy to say that I don't think I ever had to do that.
It was.
I would sooner steal something from a store.
I would have. But I lived in a tiny village then, and the following 4 words would have been used against me. I know your mother. And those are the 4 words you never want to hear out of a shop owner's mouth, because it's terrifying.
Very true. Very true. That's the danger of small town living.
It was back then. You. Certainly in the 90s, it was not the easiest.
It still is. Small towns just are harder to come by now.
They are here. They're not so common here. But there are some, but not many. But yes, as far as Governor Kate Brown's mandatory all public place mask thing goes, I consider it a lot of bollocks. I think it's her argument was, I'll mention it. The argument was, it has been effectively proven that masks reduce the transmission. Does
You know,
anyone...
I sometimes hear that. Sometimes I don't hear that. So deal with that as you will. I sometimes don't know what I should believe anymore.
Well, when people were catching it during the previous president's run, press people and the president himself, they noted that people who were catching it were the ones wearing the masks. Clearly, it doesn't reduce it. But there was also some facts. It does not reduce the transmission as much as people say it does. It just reduces moisture. I'm sorry, that's not... And even if it does reduce it by... oh, actually, someone in the chat's mentioned by 1.9%. That's not a huge amount on the transmission, is it? That's not huge at all.
No, I don't think so.
It's not. I don't consider that enough of a reason. I mean, if you want to reduce transmission, sure, fine. Just put everyone in Zorbs, please. It's just funnier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when do we just go to giant bubbles? Right? I mean, our immune system is gonna be so fucked after this point.
I want Zorbs. All right. I think we deserve Zorbs.
I'm not sure I know exactly what.
It's a massive inflatable clear ball you can go inside.
Okay, that is what I thought.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There are the other ones that have a separate layer inside that make your ball more of a impact cushion thing. You can run into other people with it, which is quite funny and bounce.
Oh, cool.
Zorbs are hilarious. Especially if you wear it. If you run with it and then someone comes up and blitzkriegs you, you go flying. It's
cool.
I'm not saying I've done it. But my head was quite sore the next day. I went quite far. I'm not saying I did it though. I'm
entertained. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's one of the few times I wish there were photos. If
okay, so
yeah, go on.
Do we? I just realized it's 5, and we have a bit more to get into. I would say about the whole Afghanistan thing. Yeah.
Okay. How about I quickly just address one thing from Trudeau?
Sure.
On Black Ribbon Day, we remember the victims of communism and Nazism. We stand with the survivors and their descendants and with all those who continue to face violence and persecution from authoritarian and totalitarian regimes. To which someone replies, you mean like your own? And then someone else underneath says, or retweets him and says, it was communism that defeated Nazism. 26 million Soviets sacrificed their lives to crush Hitler's Germany compared to just 400,000 Americans and Brits. And 20 million Chinese people died beating Japanese fascism. This is Holocaust revisionism from Western imperialist governments. I like it because...
They're not completely wrong.
They're not, and it's brutal enough that I like it. Because as much as I want to dump on communism... I'd like to just dump on a certain type, more recent, obviously. But let's talk about Trudeau's dad, Castro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good commie to go with, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Done with that. There was one other person I wanted to talk about quickly, and I think you might know who this is more than I do.
Okay.
Who is Larry Elder?
Oh, Larry Elder is a conservative talk show guy. He is currently running against Gavin Newsom in the recall election in California, and it looks like he's going to do well.
You mean the one that Biden has thrown his weight behind Newsom of, which is hardly...
Oh, of course.
So
and Harris.
That's not going to go well for him. So, well, he'll still win anyway, you know this. But Larry Elder tweeted out something. You've got to be real scared and desperate to play the race card against the brother from South Central. Column, Larry Elder is the black face of white supremacy. You've been warned. Written by an African-American woman.
Yep.
Is he the black face of white supremacy?
No. In fact, that's wholly racist.
Are you
like,
sure?
What a terrible thing to say about somebody.
Are you certain of this?
I'm pretty damn sure.
So, I have a query then. Do you think he stands a chance against Newsom?
Yeah, absolutely. I fully anticipate him to win.
Larry Elder?
Yes.
Hang on, isn't Newsom facing some interesting issues at the moment?
Oh, of course, absolutely. Newsom is facing plenty plenty of issues.
I think,
And one of the biggest one is that Democrats hate him too.
I still think he'll win. I think people blindly vote for him just cause no red.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, I would like it there to be some electoral integrity from the voters. Like, we can't have this guy. I know, it's idealist. It's never going to happen. But the idea that people for a second just stand back and go, I can't vote for this person because, as much as they are part of my party, they're not a suitable candidate. They shouldn't even be on the ballot. But then, I know that that's not how politics work. It certainly doesn't. It does here, actually. Weirdly, it does here. It actually does. I'm quite impressed with that. But I know it certainly doesn't, from what you've told me over the years, it doesn't work over there, which is interesting.
Not functionally, no.
No. So, he's just a conservative then, really, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Or to this...
Well, okay, no. He's Larry Elder is also a conservative talk show person. So, put him in the same bubble for leftists as Rush Limbaugh, as Alex Jones, as Sean Hannity. That's what they view him as. So the crude and terrible things that they've said about Alex and all the others basically assume that that's what they think of the other one, of Larry.
So essentially, Erica D. Smith, the writer of this article, is thinking him nothing more than a token or an Uncle Tom.
Correct. And they will use that against
people did that.
Almost any African American that speaks for conservatives.
People did that during the London mayoral candidate elections when it was Sadiq Khan against and I don't remember his name, but he was black and conservative, and people were like, black man not meant to be conservative. You're just an Uncle Tom. That's not what he is at all. He's just a conservative. And race shouldn't dictate your political alignment. And we know this from elections where people thought, well, some rather interesting ways about certain people of certain races, and they got that wrong, didn't they? Yet they weren't pilloried anywhere near as much as they should have been, should they, Biden? No.
Awkward.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's that done. Right.
No, but Larry Elder should do well. However, they have some interesting, unfortunate circumstances going on over there with how well the voting is going, and the manner in which it's being transferred, and random things they've found in the possession of felons and things of that nature.
Oh dear. I'm sensing
something 2020.
I'm sensing a disturbance in the force. Okay.
I'm sensing a disturbance in the fact checkers.
So I'm going to read a tweet to you to move on to what I know you want to talk about. From your very favorite Twitter user, Sofane. Joe Biden should absolutely bear the brunt of the well-deserved criticism for the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. But GTFO of there is ultimately the right move, just like it was in Vietnam.
Ooh, I don't know if you want to go down that road, buddy. like
no, that's actually
yes. Yes, objectively, yes.
Yeah. No, he's got a point. But this is where others have pointed out it's because some are conflating two different issues, and I think that's where he's seeing this, and I get it. My view is I will take what Biden has said. He screwed up, and anyone who's saying it's other people, no, he's actually taking responsibility here. So, well, I know, but he said that. Let's just go with this, okay? Don't be that guy for a minute. Let's just go with that for a second and say yes.
Is that what you hired me for?
Hired? Okay.
You're right. I don't get paid.
Yeah, you're one of the unpaid workers. You're like a cocoa farm worker.
Great.
But yeah, he's right. It's just perhaps false equivalence. Well, not necessarily false equivalence, but leave the comparisons at the door and just focus on the issue at hand. Because you don't.
I think timing and phrasing is the issue, honestly.
Always. So in the United Kingdom, we've had an issue, and some of our MPs have outright said this is what defeat looks like, because the evacuation mission has drawn to a close, and there are 1,000 eligible Afghans that have been left behind. People have died because of suicide bombings, and quite frankly, when at the G7 he was asked, Biden simply said, no. He will not extend the deadline, and that is really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what we're doing.
That sounds very familiar, because that's also here where other MPs have said, does he even know what he's doing?
No one does. No one has a single clue what the fuck is going on. And it shows.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, right now, Afghanistan has gone so terribly. And information has gone so fucking backwards. Like, forwards, backwards, in and out, all of this crap, right? You've had information coming from the Pentagon and press conferences where you've had individuals say, okay, how many people have we pulled out of Afghanistan?
Mm-hmm.
And I had looked at this. The NPR and AP, the AP and The Hill had two staunchly different numbers published on the same day, only within about an hour of each other. The AP had originally, this was, I think, Tuesday, they had reported that we had evacuated 37,800 people from since August 14th from Kabul Airport.
Yeah.
The Hill reported over 50,000 because that's what the White House had said.
Yep.
We don't know, I personally at least, don't know which one's real.
I don't either.
So, I have to then question, what's going on?
Do you want to hear an interesting quote from your president?
Yeah.
Let me say that. I'll read this properly.
Yeah.
We will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay. Your president.
So, yes, and I've heard that before.
It doesn't intimidate me when it comes from a guy who sniffs kids' hair.
Oh, see, now that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking to myself, hey, I've heard this before. This is what they said right before we went in and spent all this fucking money in the first place.
And that rather priceless commodity of time. Yes, very interesting.
So now we have a fucking person who has gone out and basically said, yeah, I can't believe you've done this. We're gonna get you. And everybody simultaneously is shouting, wait, no, that was exactly the fucking thing we were complaining about in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Fuck off. However, we can't just let 13 people go. Like, that's not allowed.
No.
That can't be allowed to just happen. However, I don't like the idea that what we're gonna do is waste more time, effort, and money in the fucking sandbox.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. That being said, you kill 13 of our people, and you expect that our military, our veterans, are going to sit idly by and just say, yeah, that's all right. That's fine. they deserve to actually get fucking ballistic missiles at this point. Because we have absolutely, completely pussified the fucking United States with this president. Okay? We have had a president who was like, the Taliban has assured us. What? The Taliban has assured you? What the fuck are they going to assure you?
Did you hear about that hit list that was given, allegedly, from the US government given to the Taliban?
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah. What the fuck was that about?
So they needed to tell... They needed to tell the Taliban who to let through the gate.
That's interesting.
That was... And then people construed it after the fact, saying, hold on a second, didn't you just give them a list of targets that are important to the United States?
Mm-hmm. Understandably
yes.
seen that way.
The answer is yes.
Because it is that thing of we don't negotiate with terrorists, and yet we're moving away from them.
We don't negotiate with terrorists, but we're doing a lot of negotiating with fucking terrorists.
Yeah, I know that people still give Trump the crap for when he did speak to the, let's call them warlords. But he was right when he said, who am I supposed to talk to then? Try and get this to stop. To agree some terms, and terms were agreed upon at least. Well, some terms. I don't agree.
I mean, it's a good point.
But there's very good point. Yeah. So I do get at the same time that you should be open to discussion. It's just such a very grey area because how do you do it?
So you basically you have two choices. One, complete and utter annihilation of the entire fucking region. That's the version that's never going to happen, but happens in all of our fucking minds. Right?
Sounds like a party.
As it does for them and us. It's untenable. It's not possible.
Right.
But realistically, what you would end up doing is exactly what we had tried to do in the first place, which was basically install a government that actually believed in keeping their own people safe.
Mm-hmm.
We tried it, then we kept staying around for too long, in my opinion, and unfortunately, we reaped the consequences of such actions. But realistically, how do you fix the terrorism problem is one that I think both of our countries would love to just have the answers for.
Oh, you're never going to fix that problem at this point because it's just impossible.
Mm-hmm. And because every time we do something to one group, they splinter off and become another group. There's apparently an ISIS-K now.
Yeah, I saw that on the news earlier, and I thought, what the fuck does the K stand for?
The region that they're from.
Kabul or?
No.
Kandahar? Kandahar?
No, it's a different. It's one that I had never heard of before.
Okay, we'll call it Canada with a K.
Yeah, we'll call it Canada with a K.
Yeah.
The
clan with the K.
yeah, of course. But they're basically from eastern Afghanistan.
Okay.
But the issue that I had was, okay, so these guys showed up, and apparently they don't like the Taliban, but we can thank them for being the ones who actually caused the issue at Kabul airport. They are currently, according to our DOD, according to the White House, the ones who actually set off the suicide vest. So
right.
Then the question has to be asked, who the fuck let him in?
Yeah.
The Taliban allegedly don't like ISIS-K. That's what I have been told. But I do not see the hatred of the terrorists from this group.
No. Bit of a strange one. Gets the noggin jogging, doesn't it?
Unfortunately. So then, so you kill a whole bunch of us. You go on the fucking news, and you make a giant fucking statement, make an ass of yourselves, telling people you will not forgive, will not forget, using the same fucking language that we did when we got attacked during 9/11. As if everyone's just going to be like, yeah, I remember the nationalism I felt when over 1,000 of the U.S. fucking got killed. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to evoke the same reaction as it did in 2001. I'm sure Biden can hope for a landslide fucking victory in the midterms because of it. Totally. And totally not going to, get asked to resign. That's been happening.
Not surprising.
Both Democrats and Republicans are telling Biden, because of his failure in this escape plan.
Yeah.
They are basically telling him he needs to resign, straight up.
See, a lot of people. I had heard that, but it's not as heavily reported on over here in favour of just our government also taking flack. People saying that the UK government should take as much responsibility as Biden. I'm sat here thinking, I don't think you can compare the two. But you know what? Sure, let's just assign blame because that achieves something.
I was going to say, what did the UK government do?
Yeah, that's the thing. What could we couldn't have done anything anyway. The decision was made by someone else. All we can do in that instance is make the best of the hand we've been dealt. And we managed to get a lot of people out, but not as many as you know. Obviously, everyone would want everyone, and I get it, but it's not likely. It was never likely. The time frame was just too small.
So, what do you think is the best plan of action if you had to? Because right now the issue is that Biden refuses to move the deadline.
Well, it doesn't matter now. Kabul, the Taliban have outright said they're not going to move it anyway. So now you've got no play, you've got no hand. You can't start a war because then innocent people die. But innocent people are going to die anyway.
I was going to say, well, actually, at that point, then we have nothing to lose.
Yeah, innocent people are already dying. People who are themselves gay, for example, over there, they're already in hiding because they know they'll be stoned, beheaded, or whatever punishment is befitting.
Women with opinions.
You've got the Afghani women's football team who risk, because of what they've done, being turned into sex slaves by the Taliban. There was a comedian, what was his name? Nazar Mohammed, actually known on TikTok because he would do dancing musical videos mocking the Taliban. He was caught by them in, was it Kandahar or whatever? Yeah, Kandahar. And the Taliban caught him, and while sat in the back of this thing, surrounded by guys with Kalashnikovs, he carried on mocking them, and they kept slapping him in the face. So they killed him. They're already collecting, they're already nabbing women and treating them as their toys again. It's just not acceptable. So what can you do?
Nothing but what we've been doing for the last 20 years.
Yeah, and it's an impossible situation. I don't know how we can do anything really at this point, and that's not fair. But what can I don't know how many times I can say that. Will anyone blame?
I agree.
Okay, Serene in the chat. So will anyone blame Bush and Blair? They already are. That's not surprising. But that doesn't change the situation that's always been happening over there. It would have always been that way regardless of intervention, and it going back is just proof that we, if anything, we're a dam. A very weak one.
I don't think you can. The thing is, when Bush and Blair did start this, it wasn't a bad idea. Because they went in for the purposes of this NATO mission. And that NATO mission was relevant at the time. It was important to actually succeed at that NATO mission because of what had happened in the United States.
Yeah.
The rest of that, though, is the 10 years after that and the nation building that we all fucking ended up subscribing to. Yeah, that wasn't part of the game. That is the part that people can blame Obama for. If you want.
Yeah, I don't care for blaming, so it means nothing. It doesn't achieve anything for me, but if anyone wants to, they can go nuts.
I like to. The follow on to it is so now we've got Republicans and Democrats calling for Biden's resignation. Um, Democrats, Republicans, and there are even some veterans who even one of the guys from the SEAL Team 6 was on Fox as I was driving home actually, and he said what we need to do is we need to go in there and fucking kill them.
Do you think that could happen or not?
He didn't say fucking, but he did say we have to go in and kill them.
Do you think anyone would actually be willing to pull that trigger?
Yeah, definitely.
Who?
Um,
What leader could do that?
What leader could?
Yeah, what leader's willing to step up and say, no, we're going in?
It may not happen right now, but it will probably happen at some other point. That's the thing. You may not see it right now, but it's going to happen. So
there will be negative consequences in the future.
Of course there will be. But we can't stop living because this has happened.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right. Although, to be fair, if current government had their way, you wouldn't be living at all anyway. You'll be inside your homes, not earning any money.
Yeah, feels like Australia.
Did you want to talk about them for a minute?
No, I don't. I have nothing to say about the Australians. They have their own problems. They can talk amongst themselves.
I don't fraternize with the subordinates.
The fucking the plebeians can go and deal with themselves. I don't want anything to do with them.
That's understandable. So with Afghanistan then, is there anything else relevant to it that you'd like to talk about? Like, how about Trump? He's been talking about this, hasn't he?
Oh, Trump said that if he had been empowered, none of this shit would have happened. Well, at least the bomb wouldn't have gone off. Yeah, I think the Taliban was actually afraid that that question that you had just asked, who would actually do it?
He's one.
They believe that Trump would.
I tend to agree. I think he's number one on that list of don't fuck with me.
So, yes, I'm willing to say that that is definitely the thing that would have caused that issue.
Understandably, at this point.
I don't think that talking about oh, if I were in power is any kind of helpful.
No, it's not productive, but it's just entertaining because people then realize for 4 years people said that Trump would be the one to push the button on the nuclear warheads, and right now he probably is the one person who would.
Well, what's even better is that
well, he wouldn't need to.
People are actually at this point asking him to do it. That's the funny part to me.
I think in those 4 years, he never came close to it. Because every person that he fundamentally disagreed with, he had a discussion with. And the most obvious two would be the Taliban and Kim Jong whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Il Sung...
I don't remember.
Cockmuncher, that's it. You're right.
Sure.
Kim Jong Shorty. We'll call him Tubbs. Since we're running out of time, Tabby, how about we quickly just touch on something you mentioned before the stream? Sam Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Who is Sam Harris?
Oh, God. Sam Harris has his own fucking publication. He's a grifting little shithead, and basically everybody hates him.
He's a blue check mark on Twitter.
Except for left-wing fucking simps, essentially. And he had posted on January 20th of this year, feeling overwhelming gratitude for the adults in the room. Yeah. Well, recently he posted another tweet, and it says, publicly eating these words, syllable by syllable.
Delicious.
And my comment to that is, fuck you, I told you so.
Are you familiar with the TV show Scrubs?
Yes.
On it, Elliot Reed has what she calls the "I told you so" dance, It's a bunch of cringy dance moves from like the 90s and 80s. In my head, I've got this picture of you doing that, just singing.
Yes, that is
so,
effective.
I told you so.
That's an effective way to do it. Yeah.
I told you. It's a great picture.
Fuck these guys though. You, me, a bunch of other. Well, I was gonna say actually like a bunch of actual conservatives because you're not really that.
No. I get called it though by freaking DM Lamont on Twitter the other day again.
Oh, good for him.
Because of my spurging on the passport thing, he underneath went, "Oh, but you conservatives talk about voter ID." How is this relevant to this? I don't give a fuck about voter ID.
Yeah, sure. I'll fucking talk about voter ID. If you need an ID to go to a fucking restaurant in New York City, and IDs are racist, then you have effectively created Jim Crow in New York. Guess who did that? The Democrats. Yep. I will never again give any kind of credence to that fucking argument because it's a load of shit.
Well, it was utterly irrelevant to me because I just want my bleeding passport so I can, well, do the obvious. Go have sex with Trups, go shooting with Trups, have sex with Trups again, with his girlfriend watching, or fiance, I can't remember at this point. And that, hang out with some other people I know. Yes, great. I do not care in the slightest about voter ID. I don't care. In England, it means nothing to me. It really does. So I didn't know why he brought it up, and it ended up, I checked the replies underneath. Oh my god. Some people had arguments. It was amazing.
I'm sure they did.
I muted the thread. It was going on for so long. You should read it later. It's amazing.
I don't want to.
Oh, you're missing.
Maybe I do. Maybe I
do. Sorry, you don't want to see a fight? How I'm sorry. Should I just tell you it's on Facebook instead?
It's exhausting sometimes.
It is, and that's why when I saw it, the first thing I did was mute my own thread because I don't normally get any arguments like that. I should stick to posting pictures of tortoises and waffle.
I was gonna say, and dogs.
Yeah.
And whatever the fuck that weird doll thing was.
Oh, the fuggler. That someone said, no, there's a sale,
Sure.
and I've got a bunch from my cabin, and I went straight on there while I was cleaning the bakery earlier, and I literally bought 4 of them off the bat. I was like, these ones look cool. One looks like a Ditto Pokemon. I want it. I'm gonna scare so many kids with those.
I'm already disturbed.
I'm very proud of myself because these are plushes that are suitable for adults.
I'm sure they are.
And for kids that clearly don't have any friends.
Yep, that one is exactly what I was thinking because all I could think of was it looks like an ugly doll.
It is. It's called a fuggler. You even go to a website with a code that's inside the box and you can, quote, adopt it. Which is hilarious. So I've done it for every single one of them. I don't know
what to tell you about that.
It's the nearest I'll ever get to having kids of my own, okay? Okay, well, I think, unless Trops has anything else he'd like to talk about, we are done for this week. I should have put Taliban on the thumbnail, but in retrospect, I did last week, got demonetized. I wanted to see if I could get away with not. Hence the mention of what can be argued to be smaller subjects. But they did transition nicely, to be honest. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Thank you all very much for joining. Thank you for smashing the like. We're almost at 50 likes for the stream. I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. That was very kind of you. Unless Trups is away next week.
I am, actually. I have a private matter I have to attend to.
Then, so it's possible we went back for 2 weeks then.
Correct.
So that's fine by me. It gives me more time to collect more sources and make a better show because I found that actually works.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Next week, yes, I will be here. The following week, I will not be.
Oh, okay. In that case, we're here next week on the 3rd of September, 2021. Yes. It's the following... Right, that's fine. Just remind me then. Before you go, do you like custard? Yes, I do. Thank you again for joining. We'll be back next week. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.